Do you understand what diabetes is? Do you know what things you have to do to lower your A1C to control your diabetes? I think most diabetics, especially new diabetics, don't even have a clue. Hi, I'm Donna Denson, the Dynamic Diabetic, and today I want to talk about how we're going to understand what's going on. It is my third um, tip for lowering your A1C. It's my third strategy, and it's learning the rules of the game. Okay? By that I mean we have to understand the rules. Okay? We have to understand the basics. I'm not going to try to explain in this video what diabetes is. Hopefully, you have already got a handle on that. If not, look for a video that explains how diabetes works. The medical community, unfortunately, has made it very confusing, I think, and very impersonal. And if you've looked at the internet trying to find answers, you know what I'm talking about. But I prefer it to be very real and very personal. And as a diabetic, I know that we strive to avoid sugars and starches so that we can keep our blood sugar level even. That's the basic. That is the, in a nutshell, version of our diabetes. But beyond what is this diabetes, how does diabetes work, if we are going to get control and we are going to lower our A1C, we got to have a plan of what to eat. But most new diabetics, again, don't have the faintest idea. And all these questions come to their mind. What do I eat? How do I shop now? What do I need to know about the labels? How do I read labels? What do I need in my pantry? What foods are good that my whole family can eat so I'm not cooking a whole bunch of different meals, right? And what if they're picky eaters? What if I'm a picky eater? What do I do for that? Are there foods maybe that I can swap for the foods that I love now that would still be good for me as a diabetic? Why is sleep so important? How do I lower my stress? Because stress is a big contributor to diabetes. What questions do I need to ask my doctor now so that I know how to take care of myself the best? And what habits should I be stopping right now? Do I need to lose weight? If I do, how much weight? How am I going to lose weight? What do I do to do that? What if I work weird hours? It's really hard to get a routine if I'm not on a routine in my work, right? I think that is a really difficult one, and I struggled with that one myself. How do you make that work? All these questions, how do I plan my meals? These are all just starters. Then you get into what about medications, insulin, highs, lows. I'm sure you can see now that there is a lot of stuff to learn and to understand to get a handle on this disease if you want to get healthy, if you want to get your diabetes under control. These questions that are swirling around in our head after the diagnosis, well, together we can come up with a rule book for you. And we can do that by having done the journaling that I talked about last week. And if you didn't watch last week, please go back and watch that, because it's important that you know what you're doing now so that you can understand how you need to change to make it better. And we will have to change, okay? It's going to take some work. There will be things you need to give up. You know, if you're eating fast food, if you're a sweetaholic, if you love heavy starch, if you eat big portions, if you're a couch potato, all those things we're going to need to modify, okay? But you'll be able to see that if you did the journaling. You just need to develop a positive attitude, because if you do, when you make the changes you need to make, your efforts will work and you will get happy, healthy, and you'll be focused on staying that way. Once you get there, you don't want to go back. You don't want to go back. So there are lots of other things I could talk about. There are surprise sugars, things that you haven't thought about. There are habits, like I said, to break, swaps to make, all those kind of things. But today I'm going to talk about one thing more, and that is some grocery tips for you. When you go to the grocery store, right, that's when you really, okay, what do I buy? what am I going to do, right? So my first tip for you is to make a list. Now, you've heard that before. You save money when you make a list because you don't buy things that aren't on your list. You just get what you need, right? Well, not only do you save money, but you also keep from buying things that aren't good for you. If you've made a list of what is good that you want to eat and you don't add to it, then you can protect yourself from some of those things that just look good, right? Which brings me to number 2, which would be never shop on an empty stomach. We've all heard that. And you may have experienced it, but if you haven't, as a diabetic, I can tell you that if you're hungry, everything looks good. Everything looks good, and you want it all. So don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself, because you probably will end up with things that you shouldn't have. My podiatrist taught me years ago to shop the perimeter of the store. It was one of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given. That means you go in the store, you go to the produce, you go to the meat, you go to the seafood, you go to the dairy. You skip the middle of the store. You shop the perimeter, okay? And the reason to do that is because everything in the middle of the store just about is processed food. And processed food is not your friend. But should you have to go into the middle of the store, which we all do for some things, read the label. Understand how to read the label to get the information you need to make good choices. Labels are really important. The government has made them a little clearer now. And as we've talked about before, if it says low fat, no fat, sugar-free, you got to look at that really carefully, guys, because they're trying to trick you on a lot of that stuff. Be careful. So the other thing is fresh is always better. Fresh is always better. So if you can get something fresh, that's what you want. You don't want anything that's in the canned aisle. You don't want anything that's in the frozen aisle, if you can help it. You can't always help it. So when I go to the grocery store, I hit the produce department first, and I stock up on everything that looks good and buy all that good fresh produce, fruit, before I do anything else, because generally I will have had a good start on what I need, and I know now, I look at my list, I need some protein, and I go to the meat, the seafood, the dairy, and whenever possible, I'm out of the store. Okay, so that's your grocery tips for today. I'm not dodging all these other questions because they are all very, very important, but it's just too much for one broadcast. The message today is my strategy number 3, which is learn the rules of the game. Understand what you need to know to be able to get control, to be able to get a handle on this. I hope that you got value in that today. I hope it helps you a little bit. Go back and journal if you didn't, because that, I promise, will help. I hope I found you safe today. I hope I found you well, and I hope I found you happy. If you would like more information on some of the guidelines I have on different things that would fall into learning the rules of the game, send me a message. I'd be happy to send them out to you. Again, this is Donna Denson, the Dynamic Diabetic. May God bless and keep you until we connect again. Feel free to subscribe to my channel, by the way, so you don't miss anything. See you soon. Bye-bye.